Oh, oh, yo, oh, 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 yo, hey, oh, yo, oh, yo, I, oh, yo, hey. Oh, oh, yo, oh, yo, hey. Oh, yo, oh, 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 hey. I, oh, yo, hey. Oh, oh, yo, oh, yo, hey. Oh, yo, hey. Yo, hey. Oh, oh, yo, oh,
Are you connected?
oh,
Yep.
yo, hey. Oh, yo, oh, I, oh, oh.
Awesome. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Swallowhead. Coming from us straight from the res upriver Nooksack. As you can see, we are coming to you live from the res as internet issues are always an issue here on the reservation. We got to get in between trees, around rivers, and down the proj. So please bear with us if we ever have any connection difficulties. I first want to say hi to Francis, Mitchell, Alex. They all said hi in the chat. I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in. This is One from the Heart. I'm tuning in here from the Great Lummi Nation here in the council chambers. As I said it before, my name's Ketaluk. My borrowed name is Terrence Adams. I'm very, very excited and happy to be back here and working with One from the Heart and putting out the good message, the good feelings, and the good heart. We have a good agenda going on today. There's big news here in Lummi Nation. We got a vaccine video coming up. I want to share first and foremost that I want to thank our health team, Dr. Dakota and Dr. Toledo, for all of their hours and hours of great work to keeping our people here safe in the Lummi Nation. They've went above and beyond, and we're very lucky that they were able to secure some of the Pfizer vaccine.
You're on mute, TJ.
Dang, that was a long introduction. Holy, I was feeling good about it and going with the flow, but I want to thank Lana for reminding me. So there was a lot of dead time there. I want to thank my brother Swallowhead from Coming Up River, sharing his gift with us. We hope you find that song and prayers in your heart. You know, you find that and take it how you want. And it's always there in a good way for good feelings and good prayers. So I am tuning in here from the Great Lummi Nation here in the council chambers. We have a great agenda going on today. We have a lot of friends and family that are here to tune in with us. Deborah Jones, my Aunt Barb Juarez, Lana, she's also upriver, probably down the road and next door to my brother Swallowhead. We want to thank her for tuning in and being with us tonight. We just want to check in with our family. You know, these are our families that live right next to our reservation here. We got a lot of great work and a lot of great things going on here in Lummi Nation. First and foremost, I want to hold my hands up to Dr. Dakota Lane and Dr. Toledo for all their great work they've been doing to ensure our people are safe. You know what that means is to have our doctors at the table. You know, there's so many people that want to sit at that table and know what it means to have a vaccine and to make our community safe again, you know, and we are very lucky to secure the Pfizer. I hope I'm saying that right. Dr. Dakota would correct me if I'm wrong. We got 300 vaccines here in the Lummi Nation, and it's going out to our first responders, our health team, and it's a big day for Lummi today. You know, it's huge. My dad, Jim Scott, Kolikbed, he was the very first Lummi Nation at about 9 o'clock this morning to take the vaccine. You know, that's huge for our people. And I just want to move along in the agenda. Like I said, we have a vaccine video. We have Lana and Deb checking in from Samish and Nooksack. We also have Noodles back in the house. Any of you want to start running around your house right now, see if you can find 3 balls to juggle. We have a juggler here tonight, so he's going to be showing us how to juggle.
We have Catherine with us as well from Nooksack.
Say that again. Frank
We have
James?
Catherine.
Oh, okay, Catherine, right on. Yeah, we have Catherine as well joining Lana. I want to give a shout out to my Aunt Raquel, Joe Brady, Noah, my sister Mary Ann. We have a lot of people in the feed saying hi. How about you let us know where you're tuning in from? Rep your res and put it in the comment box, and we can see where we're tuning in near and far. So I hope everybody's having a good night tonight. We're going to move along with the vaccine video. I could talk a little bit more about that and what it's doing for our people after we show this video.
For 3 minutes, so we have to go fast. Okay, lot number, Dakota, is EK.
Nautsiam. My name is Michelle Pulaski, and we are in Washington State at the Lummi Nation Tribal Health Clinic, and I am here today with James Scott, who will be the first tribal member to receive the COVID-19 vaccination.
I'm a lifelong resident, born here in Lummi Nation. I'll die here in Lummi Nation. I got a lot of family, you know, and I have grandkids. I have kids, 2 adult kids and 6 grandkids, and lots of nieces and nephews and family. And, you know, if there's any way I can do to make a better life for them. You know, I just turned 57 years old, so, you know, our Native American life back then was not very long, and it's starting to get longer, our life expectancy. And if there's anything that we can do or I can do to help prolong, make our next generation and the generations after that live longer, a healthy life, that's why I'm doing it. I'm not doing it for no fame, for nothing. I'm doing it for the next generation and for the ones that came up behind me. You know, what our ancestors, what our relatives had to put up with and go through. Can you imagine what they had to go through? They had to go through, you know, the Europeans coming over, liking this land so much, they claimed it, and then they had to go through all the diseases that came with it, you know, and then just showing our children and the next generation, you know, this is how we can do it. This is how we stand up. We don't run from a fight. We stand, and that's what my grandparents taught me, my ancestors taught me, is we stand up for our family, we stand up for our people, and most importantly, we stand up for mankind.
It's really exciting. So we are so grateful to have this vaccine. I know her team has been working literally 7 days a week around the clock. And this, we did it. We did it. And I'd like to call on Christina to say a few words as well.
Them to still be vigilant about groups of people, because that's how the virus really transmits. It loves groups of people in an enclosed space, small area. So I want people to really work with us, to be really even, if you work really hard up to now, I want people to work even harder right now.
We had just witnessed the first COVID-19 vaccination, and we are here with a couple of the doctors from the clinic, and let's ask them how they feel.
Today is a joyous day. We're extremely happy. It's been 9 months, 12 months. Sorry, I'm getting my time on.
11 months.
Yeah, 11 months since the beginning of this pandemic. We had Washington had the first case January 19th, and today is December 17th. And since then, the entire Lummi community has mobilized against this virus. That hasn't been easy. Our health team was just one team member in this entire community, all the way from council, who really helped lead the way with this. They certainly listened to our advice. They also assisted with advocacy for getting this vaccine at the federal level, and we are so grateful to the council and to the community for their support. Thank you.
It will take a while to get the whole community, not just the Lummi community, immunized to give protection. And it takes a good amount of people to get that shot before everybody's protected. So we want everybody to work with us, to continue to be vigilant. But we feel very hopeful today.
Yeah. Thank you.
We all did it. Merry Christmas.
Wow. You don't know how moving and powerful that was for me to see. Like I said, I only have my own story in my own way, anytime and every time I choose to relate to something. When I first came into this, COVID came around, and I was trying to wrap my head around it about wearing a mask all the time, and I can't hug or visit my loved ones. And now that I currently sit in this seat and, seeing Dr. Lane and Dr. Toledo, that brings me to like my coaching, when I see my kids win a championship, or when I see them come through the back door and continue to fight in a tournament when they've been playing all weekend, that's the kind of pride and love I have in my heart for the health team. Anybody and everybody over there at that clinic that's been putting in all the good work to keep our people safe, and that goes right along with the holiday times coming around. I hope everybody's having a good holidays through these tough times. We are in a crisis, we are in a pandemic, but us here, we have each other, we have love, and we have unity. So I think it's very important that we reach out to one another through social distancing, whether that's through Facebook, Zoom. Have your dinners that way, because it is a proven fact, with the statistics that we're transmitting COVID in our own homes, on our own reservation. It's not when we go to Walmart or to 7-Eleven. It's when I go to mom's house, when I go to uncle's house, and then I go back and see my son. And that's how our numbers are spiking. And that's why it's very important we don't have our big dinners through these holidays. I know it's tough, it's powwow season right now, and our people are really struggling with not being able to go into our spiritual homes and practice our ways. So I really want to hold my hands to Dakota, anybody and everybody that's watching out there in Indian country, you ever see him or you ever have him on Facebook, tell him, good job, keep fighting the good fight, because he's going above and beyond to ensure that our people have the resources and the tools in our belt. When we come up against this disease, our vaccine, that we have nothing, it's so new to us, and so I want to move along and make sure that we keep the agenda going. We try to keep it within an hour. We're on the Zoom, or on the Facebook on Children of the Setting Sun Productions page. If you want to send a text out to any of your family and friends. This is One from the Heart. This is our third episode in our second series. I do want to give a shout out to Maggie and Lola is coming from Surrey. Maggie wants to give a shout out to One from the Heart for always keeping that connection for our people that don't live here. You know, some people have left the reservation and moved away, and this is a really good tool so that we can keep them connected with their people. So like I said, we have Deborah Jones coming from Samish. We just wanted to go around and give an update. We have also a lot of good people on this Facebook Live that could come in and give any input or any comments as well. So I'm going to look through the comments while I turn it over to Deborah Jones.
I'm fine to do that, but I think Lana was before me and she has special guests, so I could defer to her.
No, I hear that. That was the in case something happened agenda right now. I can go back to the original. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, hey, let me redo my introduction here. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, coming from upriver Nooksack, and she's a canoe puller. So I emceed Samish. Man, it's the same thing like basketball, you know. So I want to turn it over to Lana Johnson and Catherine coming from Nooksack, OCM.
And we have Dr. James join us now.
Here.
Chief.
I want to.
I just want to thank you, Daryl and staff, TJ, for inviting us to join this week's session. Thank our elders that are with us today. Danita, thank you for being here with us. Thank you to my cousin Swalahud for sharing his gift with us always. I know a lot of our communities can use prayers right now. So thank you for that, Lawrence. My name is Lana Johnson. I'm a Nooksack Tribal Council member. I'm also the health director for Nooksack. I'm here with Catherine Romero, our general manager, and Dr. Frank James. And we are happy to be a part of this discussion tonight. How do you want to start, Teach?
Usually if it's their first time, you're supposed to do a couple cartwheels or somersault through the living room, if that works. And then one loud war hoop, you know, show us how Nooksack's war hoop would really help out through this pandemic. No, I'm just teasing. We just wanted to check in and see how Nooksack's doing. We hear, you know, it's you're always in our prayers and in our hearts. We heard a little bit about, you know, Nooksack's been doing just as great, you know, to protect their people. And it's tough, you know, we have no control over this COVID, and you know, we understand the stuff that are different trials and tribulations that our different communities are going through and facing. And it's just an opportunity to maybe get out the good message to our people and social distance through our holidays, because like I said, that's our biggest to transmit our...
I think it's really tough because our, you know, Lummi and Nooksack, Swinomish, Upper Skagit, we're so connected in so many ways through family, through culture. So, you know, what affects one community affects all communities. And we've been talking and, you know, saying we're all in this together. And I think that's the most important message that I've received through this whole pandemic, and the support and love that we receive from neighboring communities, the prayers, you know, it really takes all of us to do our part. We today, as of today, we have 9 confirmed positive cases in Nooksack. So it's hit our community as well. And I could turn it over to Catherine and Dr. James to chime in here.
Thank you, TJ, for having us here. Thank you, Daryl. Thank you, Lana, for making sure we got on here too. Yeah, Nooksack, you know, we did a great job, and we did it all together. You know, not a single one of us could have done this on our own. And COVID has hit Nooksack for the first time this last week. So, and it's been a struggle, but I really want to put my hands up to Lana and her staff at the tribal clinic. They've been working tirelessly for months and months, keeping us safe, getting all of our tests done. And then Dr. James has played a vital role for us at Nooksack and keeping us abreast on all of the COVID stuff. And it's a lot to take in. As soon as the word of COVID came around, we immediately established a pandemic response team that has really played a big part in keeping our community numbers low. For almost a whole year, we had 0 cases. And then just really stepping in to make policies to keep our elders safe. And thank you for having us. I'm happy to be here and see everybody.
So TJ, this is Barbara. If I can inject a little bit and just say a few words before we invite Dr. James to join us. The Northwest Washington Indian Health Board is partnering with Children of the Setting Sun to provide a forum for our community to thrive in during this pandemic. And we just have to remember, and when we think about our history, this is going to be just a small moment in time. And we remember today, smallpox. We remember today the broken treaties. We remember today the fact that Native Americans in our communities have health disparities when it comes to heart disease and diabetes and cancer. And those are just moments in time. And we also want to acknowledge the fact that research, and that we have been a part of research, and research really provides a value to us. The Institutional Review Board actually provides a means where the risks are smaller than the benefits when we're talking about new ways that we can advance in Western medicine. And so people have a lot of concern, people have some doubts, people have some fears as it comes to the celebration of today's video when we share the first Lummi actually receiving the vaccine. And so to set the stage and paint a picture, you know, our grandkids and our kids are going to be talking about, do you remember when we survived this pandemic? We prayed, we sang, we Zoomed, and we vaccinated, and we survived apart together. And so that's the picture that I think we're trying to present here for our tribal communities. We are doing this together separately, and we absolutely acknowledge and appreciate our science-based community partners. And so with that, we actually are reaching out to Dr. James to help us understand and address those concerns and fears around whether or not to get this vaccine. Dr. James?
Thank you, Barbara. It's good to be amongst friends. You know, almost 30 years ago, Juanita Jefferson and I worked hard to build the Cedar Board project, and that was the beginning of research. And I wasn't very smart when I started. I got to tell you, Juanita took me to have several long lunches with the elders so that I could learn something. And you know, I'm a professor at 2 universities, and I've got lots of academic degrees, but it was there with the elders at Lummi that I learned some of the most important lessons I've ever learned. We were trying to address teen substance abuse, teen violence, and teen pregnancy, and Juanita and the elders took me aside and said, well, the answer is canoe pulling. And when I heard that, I thought, I had this vision of people with a rope pulling a canoe over logs or something. I mean, I was that stupid. I really didn't know anything. And over a year or so, they got me educated. And what I learned was that culture is the strength. It's where real answers come from. I've taken what I learned there with Lummi over the, I think, 17 years I was involved with the Cedar Board, and I took that out to Deming, to the Nooksack, and we now have had a project of providing those cultural opportunities to the youth at Nooksack for 10 years now. We've had several $1 million worth of support, just like the support that Lummi had now at Nooksack. And the canoe tradition is strong there. The culture is strong there. And honestly, we now have a whole generation of kids that have the opportunity not to drug and drink, and to have, it's not just what they don't do, it's what they do. I mean, they run, they exercise, they go to CrossFit, and they pull canoe, you know, some of them 17 times over one summer. And I got to tell you, I'm envious. I look at the eyes of the people talking about going out in the summertime and camping and grabbing a canoe and jumping on, grabbing that paddle and jumping on the canoe, and the joy and the depth of feeling that they have, and the health that they have. These are people with washboard bellies, you know, and strong. So I've learned a lot at Lummi and at Nooksack, and I'm very, very grateful for that. And I think sometimes we look too much at the problems we face. The problems are real. This pandemic is a terrible thing. 3,000 people a day die from it in America. It's a big deal. It's a challenge. But the assets that are there, the wisdom and the culture are very strong. The reason Nooksack hasn't had many cases is not because of the academic geeks like me, is because Donia and Catherine's moms, they stepped forward and they said, what do we need to do? And one of my suggestions was make masks. So they went and they made masks that were scientifically informed, culturally appropriate, and incredibly beautiful, and often custom fit. Everybody out there's got 2, 3, 4, 5 masks. And they're smart masks. I got one now that prevents my glasses from fogging up that they made. These are really, that's what makes people strong, is that culture. And the most important thing that's going on out there is that everybody believes that that's how you protect elders. That's how you respect the teachings and the history, is you do the things you know from your brain are going to protect them. And that wearing a mask, staying distant, those things really, really work. So I wanted to just acknowledge that. I spent all afternoon today out at Lummi, actually, beginning to set up that research project that Dakota's working on, I'm working on, and our very good friends and partners at the university are working on, to bring not just the vaccines for a few people, but vaccines for even more people, and the knowledge that these vaccines work well in Native people. One of the things I'm doing right now is trying to reach out to federal and state authorities and explain to them the Native people aren't at average risk. Native people are 3.5 times more likely to get infected. They're twice as likely to die. Between 20 years old and 50 years old, those Native people, 10 times more likely to die. And the federal government and the state government need to know they can't be complacent to that fact. They have to actually provide us the resources we need to protect everyone in our communities. We're working hard to get that word out and to make them accountable for what they agreed to do when they signed those treaties. One of the people I often look to is Daryl Hilaire. He understands those things and is good at communicating them. The plays, the films, the stories that are told, narrative is powerful, and it's powerful in showing people like the federal leaders the truth. And we got to do that. We can't let them not see the truth. They need to be held accountable. So I'm hoping that science can be in service of those people that want to make masks and make them scientifically sound, that science can be in service of Native people getting the protection they need through immunizations and vaccines, and that it's really when we serve elders and we serve the culture, I think that's when people like me are most useful, when we come with an open heart and an open mind and can learn from our partners. I really am very proud of all the work that Lummi's doing. It's astounding. You're helping Nooksack get a leg up on this vaccine trial. We certainly couldn't do without you. We're helpers. We're not leaders in that effort. We're helping all we can, though. We've hired the people to help run that clinic and make it work. By the same token, I think we need to recognize all the elders that are doing things like making masks and making sure people know to use them and making sure there's an expectation that it's disrespectful not to, that young people know that. So I just want to thank you for letting me be part of this community. It's an honor and a privilege. And if there's something kind of an older academic geek like me can add to it, I'm going to do it. Yeah, I'm your friend, I'm your partner, and I really admire and respect what goes on. I want to tell just one story before I'm done about Daryl. Daryl called me a while ago, a couple months ago, and said, Frank, I got a bunch of t-shirts for you. And I said, okay, what's that about? And he said, well, he'd made these beautiful t-shirts. This isn't a little t-shirt, this is a really nice t-shirt. And it says Heiska on it. And what he asked me to do was to take these t-shirts out to the people that work in the San Juan Islands, the healthcare providers there. And I didn't get it at all. But when I finally did get it, I realized Daryl wanted to thank publicly those people that protect the people that live in your traditional lands. You know, Lummi were kicked out of there. You know, you'd think people would be resentful. Daryl is smart enough to provide that long-term leadership that is, and honor the responsibility of protecting the people that live in traditional Lummi lands, even though they stole them from them. And that's how you can begin to have that conversation about, why did you steal it? Can you give it back? That's how you start that conversation. Daryl is a brilliant politician and a brilliant cultural leader, in my view. So I got to deliver those t-shirts to the doctors that are protecting people out there. They're all mostly white people. And they kind of didn't get it either, but I think it's sinking in that gratitude for protecting the place that's yours is a responsibility that doesn't go away. And I just admire and learn so much from Daryl and Juanita and other elders in the community there. I'm very appreciative of it and consider it a privilege that they'll allow me to help in the small ways that I do. So thank you.
Wow, thanks, Doc. That was a lot of great information and stuff. And you must have been around the res for a long time, man. You say white guy like you got tribal ID in your pocket. I was like, this has been around, huh? I had a question about the masks, though. You say make good working masks. You see this mask I'm wearing? It's like a cloth. Is that not a good one, or is it a? They seem to sell them inside the stores. It's like a spandex, but I've also heard from some health people that that's not the safer one compared to the one that you could get into a clinic or.
They're not one of the safer ones. I'm glad you asked, and I'm happy to tell you there are some studies that suggest that when you cough through something like that, the small pores in it they're not little enough, and so it breaks the big droplets into little droplets, and in fact you get more droplets that make it through that. So those buffs or gaiters or whatever you want to call them, they're not a very good idea. I recommend strongly against them. You want to get a mask that's more something that's got a couple layers of cloth, an inner layer and an outer layer, and that fits snugly around your nose like that. And these ones that I got to tell you, the best masks I know of, and I put a picture of some of mine on Facebook, and the first question people ask, where can I get some of those? And you know, Donia and Juana they don't sell them, they give them away. But you want a real mask, and if you need one, give Donia or Juana a call and they'll get you one. They're the real deal, man.
Yeah.
And so I think it's real important to use the right ones. Thank you for bringing that up. It's true humility that you're coming from, and I think that's a good thing. And unfortunately, the answer is it doesn't work very well, and I recommend you not use it. You want to get a good one and pick them up from Donia and Juana, because they're the people that are making the best masks I know of. They even for glasses, they make them so they fit up here and your glasses fit on top, and that little extra piece of cloth there, they're the real deal.
Doesn't let
I'm
them.
sure there are people at Lummi making them too.
Yeah. Helps it so they don't fog up, right?
They don't, no.
So I got another question real quick about the vaccine. I know that Lummi's had it, or that we just started today. I've talked to Dr. Lane in Toledo about this. To a lot of our people that are uneducated and don't know what it means to have a vaccine and to provide that to our first responders or our health team, it comes across as they think we're guinea pigs or we're some kind of lab rat or a test that the government's doing on us, or that, no, this is driven by our own people. And in order for it to get to the council table, I had to go through a health commission. The health commission is brought up a body of our own people. You know? So in order for it to get through those loopholes and then get to where we're getting it delivered, and we're very excited to announce Umatilla and Yakima were also part of this first distribution, and we helped. You see that freezer they put the stuff in, and that was something that was rare, is why we were able to have them here. But if you can give us any little insight or any different perspective, I guess you could say, to think how we could, send this message out in a good way to our people, I guess.
Well, the first thing I think is to acknowledge the very real and very severe historical trauma that's occurred. I mean, this isn't coming out of, this isn't an even playing field. This is a playing field that's been pushed a long ways one way. The things that have been done by white folks, academics, and politicians to Native people is, honestly, it's unimaginable to me. To, the amount of death and destruction, serious stuff. I think of my own wife and my own children. To think of them as dying, it breaks my heart to think about it. But that trauma is what a lot of people experienced. Many people listening to this are probably young people, and they haven't had that experience. But within the lifespan of many of the elders that are around, those kind of things were going on. And even the lack of respect for scientific data about increased risk for Native people today, right now, I'm reaching out to get them not to keep making the same damn mistakes, because they're doing it right now. They need to do things differently. So first, just to acknowledge that people being afraid, that's not unreasonable. They should be afraid. And that's a reasonable thought. But I think you need to look to people you trust too. You need, Dr. Lane, he's Lummi, and he's damn good at what he does, and you can trust him. I hope that I spend enough time at Lummi and at Nooksack that people trust me. I'm not in it for the short run. I'm there permanently. You get accepted in a community like that. You can go away for a while, but you never leave. Haven't been working at Lummi for a long time, but I'm still there. People there need me, they call, and I answer. So there's some people you trust, you got to trust them. Now, if somebody wants to go and read all the literature, they can't. And I would encourage people to do it, but it's complicated. And so I don't think people can choose to be part of that study or not. If you're not part of it, then that's fine. You're going to get vaccine on a schedule of based on the people that the tribes decided who are most important to get it first. But you might be able to get it earlier. For every 2 people that get the vaccine, 1 person's in a placebo group. And I don't like that very well. But as soon as those vaccines are released and you're in a priority group to get it, the people at the university running this study have agreed to let that person in the placebo group get the Pfizer vaccine. We're all using a different one for the study, but they can. So instead of a vaccine versus placebo, knowing you didn't get anything, it's going to be vaccine, the new vaccine, the Novavax vaccine versus the Pfizer vaccine. And so is it better than the standard? That's the right way to do it. And the university is doing it that way. That they agreed to do that. And that took a lot of pushing. We had to push a big, powerful, multi-billion-dollar drug company to the table to agree to do that. And that's exactly what we did. So as people become eligible for that, the known vaccine that's been approved, it's going to be made available to them through the tribe. And same thing, Nooksack, we chose a little bit different way. We're going to wait for the Moderna vaccine. It's a little bit different, pretty similar, and we're going to use that. But when that's available, people will be able to take that and still be in the study. And that's what I like, is one good vaccine against maybe a better vaccine, and find out which is best. So it is a study. So people got to be willing to take some risk to be in it. If you're not brave and not willing to do that, don't sign up for it. if you don't trust the people, you don't trust me and Dakota, you don't sign up for it. You know, I don't, but if you do, and you're willing to take that little bit of risk, then try it, you know, and it's really important that these vaccines be tested in Native people. You know, you want Native people, the numbers are not good, you know, 3.5 times more likely to get disease, almost twice as likely to die from it overall. And in that 20 to 50-year-old age group, 10 times more likely to die from it. I mean, those are not small numbers. You'll need fancy statistics to say those are significant differences. So I think that's what I'd say about it is, you know, if you want to contribute to science, and if you feel comfortable with the people that are recommending it, give it a whirl. And if you're not, just it's okay to wait with everybody else and get it when it's available to you. The current vaccine, that Pfizer Moderna vaccine, there's enough for about half of the people that need to get it in that top tier, at least by the federal and state standards, the healthcare providers and emergency response people. There's not enough even for all them. So it's going to probably be well into January before we begin to go down to the next tier, those which are elders with high risk conditions, and then eventually it'll be to everybody. But that, by the time everybody can get it, that's probably going to be the end of March or April. And so if you want to maybe get it a little earlier and get one that I personally think the Novavax vaccine is an excellent vaccine. I think it's one of the safest vaccines. I also think it's one that is going to be effective. It's very, very immunogenic. Different mechanism than the current two that are available. Too long an answer? Anything else?
I wrote it all down, so I got it all. No, I'm just teasing. Those are just my notes. Like I said, I appreciate all that information you shared, Doc. I read it in the feed here that George Swanisett Jr., he says, "I trust you, Doc." So that's coming from your own people, man. You know that, right? And that's the same way I feel about it. You know, Dr. Dakota, he's my second cousin. You know, we come from a big family tree, you know, of the Lanes. And to know that he's there, you know, for his people, he's got an open heart and an open mind. You know, he's got an open ear to always listen into the concerns of our elders all the way down to our younger people. And it's more of our younger generation that doesn't see the big picture, or, you know, the light at the end of the tunnel, and what this means to be at the table, you know, and to know that we have a say in this discussion and how this vaccine has come. You know, there's nothing wrong with sitting back and waiting, like you said. So if people don't want to participate in it, there's nothing wrong, you know. Start praying for the people that are, because we're paving the way in so many ways so that not only Lummi Nation, but all Native Americans, all our family could be at the table for these vaccines that are coming.
It's really important that healthcare providers get that vaccine, though, because they put themselves in harm's way. Other people, they can stay home, they can wear the mask, they can stay 6 feet away.
Yeah.
But if you're a doctor, you don't got that option. You're called to get right up in somebody's face and take care of them when they're coughing and sick, and you know they got it. You're still in that room taking care of them. So I think it's critically important that those nurses are in a lot more harm's way than doctors are, honestly, that we respect them and make sure that they get protected as soon as possible. And people like Dakota they're right there in harm's way, you know. And they're a precious resource. Just like the nurses and the doctors at our clinic at Nooksack, you don't get a lot of people that good that want to do that kind of work. And so we got to protect them. But other people that don't have to go into harm's way, you know, all you got to do, this bug it hasn't got wings, it hasn't got feet, it can't walk. You got to get 6 feet from somebody and they got to cough on you. I mean, so you don't have to get this disease. You don't, even without the vaccine, you can make wise choices.
I'm going to use that real, you know, there's a right way and a wrong way, you know, just like you said, it doesn't have feet or it doesn't have legs, right? And I really appreciate all that you're doing, you know, all across Indian country. And, you know, we keep you in our prayers, you know, in our hearts, that the good work that you do continues, you know. And I don't know if Lana or Catherine want to do a somersault before, add anything before.
So before you do that, if we could ask Alana to share maybe how she takes care of her emotions during this time. I often see that you share pictures on Facebook of your Labradoodles. And so I know that different people have different ways of taking care of their fears or their anger or their anxiety issues. And we know that depression and anxiety has really touched a lot of people during this pandemic. So if you could share with us what you do to take care of yourself, and maybe share a little bit about your friends, your furry friends.
We got our dogs. I think everybody knows we were with Melinda and Travis Brocky during the Las Vegas shooting, and we dealt with anxiety and PTSD, and that's when we decided to get our doodles. So we have 2 doodles. One is Fen and one is Bodhi. They're just one way. It's been a difficult time because we don't have, our gatherings in our longhouses right now. And that's a huge outlet for our people, for myself, my family, and those of us that belong to that. So that's been challenging. And the other ways that we deal with is, taking care of ourselves and physically, emotionally, spiritually, and just running and walking, just doing physical activity to try to stay safe and just keeping active. And that's difficult too, because, we're pretty much confined to our home, and we've set up our gym here in our garage for us to work out. We have a salt runner, a rowing machine, a paddle machine. So we've pretty much set up our home so we can work out at home safely. And just being able to Zoom with people, I think that's helped. TJ's, talked about families gathering for Thanksgiving, Christmas, through Zoom. And in our health board meeting today, Barb, I heard Cheryl talk about, how their family Zoomed for Thanksgiving, and how, the Vindiolas were really about that and sharing, how their family staying connected through Zoom. And I think that's one of the most challenging things for our people. And Daryl spoke to that earlier about, how this vaccine will help us get to that point again, where we can safely gather with our families, with our communities, with our longhouse families, with our canoe families, with our stick game families, all the areas that we all gather that we miss. And in our health board meeting today, we talked about how people are, struggling with relapse, with substance abuse issues right now because of the stress and anxiety from COVID and all that brings to people. Thank you, Barb, for asking.
Right on. Well, before we move on, she kind of stole my little cool part about it. I wanted to ask Lana, Catherine, and Dr. James. We'll start with Catherine, what she's expecting from the Jolly Red Giant this year. What are you asking for Christmas? Maybe somebody's tuning in that would be able to help you out, get that message over to Santa Claus. If you want to share with the viewers, what are you asking for Christmas?
Are we having Christmas this year?
Jeez, you already got a new paddle. So.
No, really, I've just been encouraging our people to be merry, find their peace, and just, make the best of it. This is, I'm not that old, and this is my first experience dealing with a pandemic, and every day has been full of uncertainty and navigating all of these different elements of COVID and the pandemic and protecting our people, protecting ourselves. And so I hope that being stuck at home with our households, we can all just enjoy the peace of being home, being safe, being together. And like Lana said, Lana and I are neighbors, but we don't really get to hang out with each other, but we can see each other from our back porches, and you know, we FaceTime with our sisters and our family. And so yeah, I just really hope everyone can enjoy their peace and be merry during this season and take advantage of the slow time. You know, everything seemed so fast paced before COVID hit.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what I'm asking for Christmas. Just
Right.
peace and maybe some purple Crocs with the fur inside.
There you go. See, I knew something would come up. Gee. Purple Crocs. How about you, Doc? Do you have anything that you're looking for? It better not be a lump of coal, so now's your time to voice it.
As an old guy, I guess I turned 70 in May, and I'm just grateful for, you know, I got 4 kids. They all live here now. I got one's a doctor. I worry most about him. He's a hospitalist there at the hospital in Bellingham, and he had 16 COVID patients, and 2 of them died the other day. So, but I worry about him every day going to work. I'm at a little bit of risk. He's at a lot of risk. So I'm very grateful that I got my family. They're all here. I got 8 grandkids to go with the kids. And so, you know, I got diagnosed with prostate cancer about 5 months ago. And it's not the bad kind, you know, it's, you know, right now my goal is to exercise and eat healthier. I'm not really, don't need surgery right away. So I consider it a gift, you know, I kick in the butt to exercise, and I want to exercise half as much as Lana and Catherine do. I'd be really healthy if I could. But I think having my kids, having my health, even when you get thrown those left curves like the cancer, that it's something you can manage actively, and you can, I plan on dying from something else. So I think I'm just grateful for the health I've got, despite the challenges, and I'm grateful for my children and my grandchildren. At the end of the day, as an old guy, that's what matters. And family and friends. I see Juanita Jefferson's on this thing, and she's one of my favorite people on the face of the earth. And of course, Barbara and many of the people here, folks at Daryl, these are all people I really value. They're important people in my life. And so having those important people and maybe taking the time to get my butt out there and visit them sometime, as soon as we get this COVID stuff over, I want to spend more time with those people, including my family. So that's family, friends, and health. That's what I'm hoping for.
Right on. Thanks, Doc. We appreciate you for coming out and sharing the good message and the good words. And we hope you have a good time, get lots of rest. It looks like the lights in the back of your car that you're at the Silver Reef Casino. So I'll tell you good luck before you head in. Hey, I'm just teasing.
I'm actually parked at a Starbucks. I was on my way home from Lummi, and I just parked here to
not
in
the
on
Silver
time.
Reef, but just as good, I guess. Hey. You want to share, Lana? Because I'm pretty sure Joe can hear you from the kitchen. So just make sure you say it real loud that you already got a new paddle. And hey, there he is.
How do you know I'm in the kitchen?
I knew it. You're waiting for dinner, I bet, eh?
Getting those Capture the Crown tickets on.
Jeez, right on.
I think just the most important thing is showing gratitude. And I just really want to thank our pandemic team, our council. Our council has been really vital in helping with the policies that we need as a tribe to address this pandemic. Our frontline workers at the clinic, you know, all of our doctors, nurses, frontline receptionists, janitors, CHRs, you know, it takes so many people in moving parts to do what we do. And our whole community to combat COVID, you know, we had so many people making masks. And Dr. James mentioned Doni and Juana, but there was also others that brought masks to the clinic and donated them. My cousin, Michael Jimmy, made pieces for our nurses for their masks so their ears wouldn't get sore from wearing the masks all day. We had We have a tribal member, Kayla Dunnett, who started a food pantry in one of our housing sites. You know, we've had so many people step up and step forward. We had a community member apply for a grant and distribute disinfectant kits to families. Stephanie Calti. You know, we've just had so many people step up and step forward and just come together as a community. And so I think just expressing gratitude to everybody that had a part in helping Nooksack be who we are and represent who we are and where we come from, and honoring our elders and our future. You know, we need to get through this pandemic so our kids have, you know, they have things they want to do: basketball, canoe paddling, stick game, so they can get back to their lives and their friends, and traveling, like you said, to basketball tournaments, canoe races. You know, we all.
You still there?
Yeah.
Okay,
I got my Christmas present. I got a TV.
I was gonna say, you're not asking nothing, and then nobody's asking for. I wanted like a new driver or something, but you guys are saying love and the health and wellness, and I guess I'll have to roll with wellness too if I can't get a new driver or some new rain jacket for golfing. But I appreciate you all spreading that good message. If none of you know any of the viewers, I want to give a shout out to George Swanisett, my mom, Mary. Big Rez is in the house. My mom's on here. I'm surprised she's not texting me and telling me what to say, or you need to bring this up and talk about this. Crystal Barnes, I want to read her comment. She said, thank you for the acknowledgement of the history. The pain from the history still flows in our veins, and the action to acknowledgement. It means the beginning of healing. So I want to thank Crystal for stepping in the comment box and sharing that. I see Kelly. I see Moses on here. Mo must be upstairs watching, huh? So Lana's son's on here showing support for his mother. I appreciate that, brother. Long time no see. Loretta, I just want to give a shout out to anybody that's tuning in. This is One from the Heart, brought to you by Children of the Setting Sun Productions. This is our third episode of our second series. We're very happy and honored for all of you to tune in so we can get the good message of happy holidays, social distancing, and no Grinches allowed, right? We're going to move along. We have this killer performance. Noodles, I hosted here back when One from the Heart started, and I still didn't know how to juggle, but he brought us on and showed us how to juggle. It was a really cool show. I think he has some partners here with him today. Before we let Lana and Catherine and Dr. James go, I appreciate all the hard work and the dedication to our people. Like I said, I keep you in my heart and my prayers for you to keep paving the way. You know, us as leaders for our people, that is our job. You know, it never ends. And me being newly elected and finding out, you know, I was a 24-hour advocate before that, but to know what it means to 24/7 service your people, it's very humbling, and I'm honored. It looks like we have Noodles coming in with the light show. He has a couple of dangly earrings on. His assistant here with a nice smile. Smile, right on.
We're starting in blackout. This is the blackout moment leading in.
I thought shaking it was part of the routine, but yeah, that's and then it began.
Good to see you, Terrence. Yeah, we created this one special for One from the Heart. It's about transformation power, you know, taking the sorrows and the rains and these cold winter months and taking it in and creating new life out of it, and using this time to sort of hibernate, incubate, and grow our roots and deepen within ourselves, and then out of that create anew and see anew and grow life. So this is a special piece with shadow art and Lyra. So we'll begin.
Right on. Thank you. So cool. Man, I hope Lana, Dr. James or Mike
Yeah.
expect that their next intro for when they come on the show next, they can do some acrobatics and a light show like that. That was something else. Thank you for
Thank you.
one from the heart. I thank you for coming forward and sharing your gift. You know, you all have a gift, and it's very empowering and uplifting. You know, through these pandemic and these tough times, that's what our people need. You know, they need something that can uplift their heart and entice their mind a little bit, right? And I'm actually gonna go buy one of those hoops after I get done here and go home and try to shoot it to
I want to see that next one from the heart. I want to see that hoop act you got.
Mine's gonna have to be at
You
least
know,
foot off the ground so I don't fall too far.
yeah, it's the power of culture and art. You know, it's a really good place to put our energy right now as far as transforming and working with the times, is just staying creative and staying engaged, and using art as a way to connect with each other. And yeah, Haishka, it means a lot to be a part of this community. Thank
Right
you.
on. Thank you again. I look forward to seeing much more as we have more of these shows. So thank you again.
Yeah.
I want to follow along and thank one and all that's here with us tonight. This is One from the Heart, brought to you by Children of the Setting Sun Productions. We're very happy and fortunate for each and every one of you that is here. We've had a lot of people come in our live or news feed. I have my Aunt Shirley, Iolta, Akisha, Looks like Barb's watching her phone and her screen over there, so she's able to comment and watch. That's the same thing I'm doing, see? So I can be tied in on both ways. But we're having a good afternoon, good conversation. If you're just coming and joining in, I do have an announcement on behalf of our youth program out here, Lorraine Dennis and Tammy Colty. They have the Santa's workshop going on out here in Lummi. You bring your kids there, or the parents go there, and they could fill out a couple pieces of paper, and you can get some gifts for your kids. So the last day for that is tomorrow, 12/18. It goes from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Veterans Hall. On behalf of the nation, I want to hold my hands up to Lorraine and Tammy and their staff for all the great work they're doing to bring the holiday cheer, the good spirit and upliftment for our kids. Any of you viewers out there, I want to challenge you to do your best to make this holiday time a very happy and joyous time within our own home. You know, they look at it as a disadvantage to be sitting at home away from your big family, but I look at it as an advantage. You know, I have time to really engage and be present in my kid's life. You know, there's no distractions, and that's the biggest goal for me, is to be present for my kids when they need me. You know, and what that means to me is if my kid needs a ride to the store, if he wants me to ride the bike with him or read with him or even watch a show with him, you know, that's where you sit down and say, yeah, son, I'm with you. You know, let's watch this, or let's work on your homework, or I'll play your tablet with you. Because you can easily say, no, I'm busy, I'm working. You pick up your phone and drown them out. You know, I'm really guilty of that in the past, of telling my kids I was too busy for them. And that's our biggest gift, you know, as our youth, as our future. And what are we going to teach them? What are we going to leave them? So I want to move along. I know that we've been trying to hold the schedule, but we have a lot of great guests on here. So I want to turn it over to Deborah Jones. She's been preparing since 7:30, everyone. I've been on here since 7:30 on the Zoom, and she's been doing her cartwheels, jumping jacks, and I heard her let out a couple war hoops out the door. So I think she's ready. Let's turn it over to Deborah Jones.
You know, I think schedules are so important, and it is dinner time for a lot of people, and I sincerely do not mind maybe coming back on another one, just because we are so far behind schedule. That doesn't bother me at all. So I'd like to throw that out there. And
you're really trying to get out of it. You're really, no, I'm just teasing you. I'm just teasing. Let's get a smile out of that. I was teasing. So maybe you just want to give us a little 2-3 minute update. You know, how's Samish doing? How's our relatives doing? And what do you?
Daryl promised me 45 minutes. I will say this. I know that a lot of you don't know me, but my name is Debbie Jones. I'm a Samish tribal member from the Barkhausen Seahome line. I am a nurse. The tribe helped me get my bachelor's degree, and I had been living in South Dakota for 20 years, and I just had the worst urge to come home. And so I am home now. I'm glad I'm home now. I'm near my father. My mother died right after I got back unexpectedly. So I know that there was a calling for me to be here. And I love what I do. I love taking care of people. And our tribe is that way as well. When we declared the state of emergency, hands up to them, our IT department turned around in no time flat, and we all just went home one day and started working from home. And they were right there for us. They got us the equipment. We have massive orders of equipment going in. And I have to say that that's been one of the most fulfilling things, because we have elders and people who can't travel to our gatherings, or they live very far away. And so it's enabled us to be able to be in better touch than we were to begin with. And we have been, using Teams as opposed to Zoom, but we've been working from the Teams platform, and we have been doing weekly cultural events in our Chelangen department. And we have people from Alaska and Canada and all over the United States that have joined us that we may never have gotten to meet them, or we're missing people. And it's just enabled us to be able to be in really good touch. And with our Chelangen activities, the people that are participating, and there are a lot of them, sometimes we do craft. We've done weaving, we've done felting, we've done drum making. Our chairman has given us talks on the history of the area, and it has just been such a blessing. We have people that are, like has been mentioned, struggling with anxiety and depression, and it's enabled them to have an outlet and to feel in touch. So that has been really great. We have a CDP, a chemical dependency professional, who has started talking circles, and he started with 1 and he's up to 3 already. And the people are so thankful, and it's another program that they want to continue. We've been feeding our elders. We deliver meals, 2 weeks of meals at a time to them, and we use those trips when we drop off the meals to send them little gifts. And the manager of our elders department is actually calling those in the elders program at least once every couple of weeks to make sure that they have someone to talk to. And, they have been so grateful. They love getting the little gifts, and they're so thankful. And it really, something so simple just makes their day. And so we all try to think of things that we can send, little things we can send to the elders, and, just great ideas like that. And what else have we done? Oh, our department sent out emergency backpack kits to our citizens. And what was in there, 3 days of water, 3 days of protein, first aid kits, emergency radios. It's an all-purpose shelter in place or hit the road bag. And we had so many comments about how people felt so much more secure, just knowing they felt a little bit more in control of their world. And that was just really gratifying to hear as well. I will cut myself off there. I could go on and on because.
Can you still read your poem, please? I've been waiting for that.
Yes, I'd be happy to. Okay. So what we were just talking about was me speaking on behalf of the tribe. I'm speaking to you all just as me, and this is my one from the heart. It's a poem that that was in a book called Streams in the Desert that my grandma and I both loved. And it is a reminder to me during these tough times, and even before this time. This is on my bulletin board and at work. It's on my desktop at home and at work, and it's to remind me what my job is and to remember to please others and not have a grumbling heart, to have a singing heart. So it's called Song of Sweetness, and I will read it to you now. Once I heard a song of sweetness as it cleft the morning air, sounding in its blessed completeness like a tender pleading prayer. and I sought to find the singer whence the wondrous song was born. And I found a bird sore wounded, pinioned by a cruel thorn. I have seen a soul in sadness, while its wings with pain were furled, giving hope and cheer and gladness that should bless a weeping world. And I knew a life of sweetness was of pain and sorrow born, and a stricken soul was singing with its heart against a thorn. Ye are told of one who loved you, of a Savior crucified. Ye are told of nails that pinioned and a spear that pierced his side. Ye are told of cruel scourging, of a Savior bearing scorn, and he died for your salvation with his brow against a thorn. Ye are not above the Master. Will you breathe a sweet refrain? And his grace will be sufficient when your heart is pierced with pain. Will you live to bless his loved ones, though your life be bruised and torn, like the bird that sang so sweetly with its heart against a thorn? And that's my one from the heart.
Oh my gosh, thank you very much. That was a great poem.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. And just goes to show that healing and upliftment comes in so many different ways. You know, here in our community, we use our tradition, our culture, our song, and our dance to uplift our people. And I appreciate you for sharing that gift. You know, the gift of poetry is huge to put that all in a poem, in a scene, in a paragraph, however you want. And it has so much meaning and upliftment to it. So I want to thank you, Deb, for joining in and hanging out with us. This is One from the Heart, and I appreciate you for sharing your one from the heart. I hope the viewers find that in good heart and good spirit. I want to give a shout out to my bro Kuda. George Swanisets in the things again. He wanted me to tell my mom hi. Hi, Mom. Hey. Jessica says, beautiful, great work. My Aunt Lisetta, or my cousin Lisetta, Loretta are both here. Akisha, I want to thank you all for tuning in. It's been a great show, a great afternoon. I'm just happy to be back to be doing these hostings. You know, before I got elected to come and serve my people, you know, my biggest passion and always is being able to do public speaking, motivational speaking to our kids, just getting up to use my gift for my people. You know, it's not too long ago that my elders shoved me out on the floor and said, you know, speak to your people and do it in a good way, a good heart, a good mind. And it's been my calling since. You know, I appreciate all the elders that stand with me and continue to guide and teach me. So before we sign off and do our closing, I want to go through just a little bit. I want to thank Lana and Catherine and Dr. James, my brother Swallowhud from joining us from upriver, Nooksack territory. Deb from Samish. It means a lot for us to all come forward. And I want to thank my Aunt Danita, my Aunt Barb and Aunt Juanita, you know, my Uncle Daryl, for all their great work and guidance. You know, to be a leader, you got to have followers. You know, I pride myself in saying it like it is. And to be able to lead your people is one thing, but for them to follow is another. And we appreciate all of you viewers that tuned in and stayed with us, because all we're trying to do is spread that love, that unity amongst our people all across the country, so that we could live a healthy and safe life together, you know, through this pandemic. And I'm very happy and pleased to go through these announcements before we go into our finishing that. The Lummi Nation started the Pfizer, I hope I'm saying that right, Pfizer vaccine. Today we are able to get 300 of them. My dad's here waiting for me to go out to dinner, and he was just telling me how excited and pumped he is. He received the vaccine. He's part of that team over there at the health clinic. He's very, very excited. You know, he's an elder here in the Lummi Nation, and he's pleased and happy to let his people know that he's took part in this vaccine to, you know, make our reservation a safer place. You know, I asked him what it meant to get it and how do you feel about it? And it's all good spirits. And I hope that anybody else here in the Lummi Nation received the vaccine today, that you spread the good message to our people, you know, because there's a lot of mixed messages, and we just want our people to know that this is for the betterment of our people. Give a shout out to Umatilla and Yakima Res. They also received the vaccine. And I keep saying this, that anybody and everybody that's tuned in, you know, if you ever see Dr. Lane or Dr. Toledo, or you're friends with them, you know, and their team, you know, they may be the coaches on the team, and they have a huge dream team of different pieces of puzzle that makes that canoe run. So any support that you can give them, a good job, and I love you, keep going. That means the most, because it's not always good jobs, you know, it's what are you doing? Why are we doing this? And I just hold my hands up to the health team. I want to thank the JOM program and the youth programs for bringing out all the services for our kids. You know, it's ultimately about the kids for me. And the Santa's Workshop is going on until tomorrow. If you want to go over to the Veterans Hall and sign up to be part of Santa's Workshop and get your kids some gifts, go over there and visit Tammy Calty and Lorraine Dennis. I hope everybody's having a good evening. And before we sign off, it is our way to always close in prayer. Like I said, I want to thank each and every one of you that tuned in. I see Father Pat must have had to leave. I think we have Swallowhead Lawrence Bailey that's going to come in and close with us and bring us out with the prayer. We hope each and every one of you have a good night. This is One from the Heart, brought to you by Children of the Setting Sun Productions. I think we're going to go into the song now, if John can hear that.